Alrighty guys, welcome back to another LEGO set review from BrickByBrick, and today we have set number 75969. This is the LEGO Harry Potter Hogwarts Astronomy Tower. This was the Hogwarts expansion set for December 2020 Harry Potter wave, and it retailed for $99.99 in the US with 971 pieces and 8 minifigures. And it does have one instruction booklet, which is exactly the same size as the clock tower one from the year before. And inside there's really nothing too special about it. It's basically just your standard fare Harry Potter instruction manual with just like the one ad at the back, which interestingly, just advertises all of the summer sets. Even though on this page it shows a couple of the older ones, which I believe this one is definitely going to be retired while this set is on shelves. But I know that they did definitely increase the lifespan of the Great Hall so that it would be on shelves at the same time. But it does show you how you can connect all of them, and I will be doing another follow-up video connecting all 4 of the Hogwarts sets. But looking at the actual model here, it's very tall, and I kind of have to move the camera up in order to show you its whole height. But it's kind of impressive on display. And honestly, scale-wise, this tower is way shorter than it should be, obviously. But I think this is pretty much exactly the same height as the tall tower in the Great Hall set. But basically, what this set consists of is the tall tower here. We've got this little entranceway, and then over on the side here we have a little bit of greenhouse, and there's a little bit of interior or exterior decoration, I guess, wherever you want to put it, but it technically belongs to the interior with this little Slug Club Barty table. And first up here we have this little table, which, is not super duper similar to things that we see in the movie around the Slug Club scene, which is kind of what this is supposed to, or what this whole set is supposed to sort of represent, similar to how the Yule Ball is represented in the Clock Tower. And, there's no, I don't remember there being a chocolate fountain. Maybe there was, and I just completely forgot about it. It's been a while since I watched the later Harry Potter movies. I've actually been rewatching all of them through Prisoner of Azkaban so far, but haven't made it to the Slug Club yet. And the table is actually a pretty nice build for what it is. I like the use of these 45-degree angle wedge slope things. But I mean, it looks pretty good. I like the build for the chocolate fountain a lot. It's kind of clever how it's done. It uses one of these bar pieces, like the antenna pieces, and just sticks some dishes on there, and it works well. As far as the food that we've got on the table, we've got some poop cupcakes. Yep, definitely cupcakes. Not dog poop, but you do get a really good amount of those in the set, so hopefully they'll be a little bit more common now. And you got 3 of these cookie pieces and 3 of these waffle pieces. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is for this little table. You do have Neville as well, who is, waiting at the Slug Club Party and does have an additional glass there. So you do get 4 total in the set. And we'll take a look at the 3 little Hogwarts, or the 3, not all little, this one is the little one, but we'll take a look at the 3 Hogwarts sections separately here. And first we're going to start off with the greenhouse, and the greenhouse is not really quite the right colors, I don't think. I think it should be a little bit more green, at least from the exterior. From the interior it looked a little bit more brown, but I don't know, just doesn't quite look exactly right to me. It does have some good plants growing outside, which I think is good. And it does actually use these dragon pieces, which I just noticed this while watching the Chamber of Secrets, right? I think Chamber of Secrets is the scene that I noticed this in. But it actually does have dragon detailing on there. Again, it should be a bit more green, like maybe a sand green color, I think would have worked better. But I'm impressed that they got the dragon details on there, so I mean, good on them. The outside here has a little bit of non-greenhouse Hogwarts wall and a door that can open up using a metallic silver stud as the handle there. Your figures can walk inside through that. The roof is actually really interesting because you can remove it pretty easily. It is just built sideways, and it just gets wedged in between these panels perfectly. It's like it fits pretty tightly. I'm not going to turn this upside down because I will knock all the mandrakes out, but it does fit on there pretty tight. And inside the greenhouse we just have a little table there. We have some scissors here, and in the back wall we do have 4 of these pot pieces, and we do have inside each pot, they're all the same, so I'm not going to remove them all, but we have a mandrake, which is made up of a printed 1x1 round brick with one of these plant stem pieces, which you can pull in or out. I believe that these mandrakes may be exclusive to the set, because I think that the one that Sprout has in the CMFs has a different print on it, but I could be wrong. Maybe this does also appear in the Professor Sprout CMF. But this little greenhouse build does give you a good place to put your Professor Sprout minifigure. So, you know, if you do have that, then we'll go pretty nicely with this. And the door over here is open as well, so you can probably connect this in the future to other things, though there is only one pinhole, because I built it wrong, and that should be facing that direction. So, yeah, there's that. But they do, interestingly, use 2 Technic pins here, whereas in the clock tower, at least, they use 1 Technic pin and one of the half-axle, half-pin things. So, you know, just a slight little interesting thing there. And the next little section here, I'm not sure exactly what part of the castle the outside is supposed to look like it is, but, you know, I guess that doesn't really matter all that much. But, you know, it looks reasonably pretty good from the outside. It does bring in a bit more sand green than the usual for these, you know, 2018 forward Hogwarts sets. But, I don't know. I don't mind it. I think that it adds a nice little splash of color a little bit. I mean, the dishes might be a little bit much, but the spires are pretty much the same as in all the other sets anyway. I like the little circular window there. That's a good feature. The door can open up, obviously, but, you know, it's kind of just one of those door pieces with one of the, you know, kind of built-in, filled-in window things. We have a couple stickers for some brickwork on the towers here, which the towers are pretty decently built up, you know, pretty round. Looks very reasonably good, I would say. And then you have a little bit of a smaller round section in the back here. The roof is kind of angled in with some Technic pins, so that's why we have these gray. I wish that instead of gray they'd just recolored that piece in tan, but, you know, from most angles you don't really even, like the ones on the ground, I think that those are fine, but, you know, the top ones I kind of would have just liked to see tan, but, you know, we're not the end of the world, I don't think. We do have this little candle holder up on the roof here, which it's a little bit hard to get those to stand straight up, but there we go. I think I got it there. But you do have one of the candle pieces plus 3 of the flame elements for some kind of melted candles, which I think looks pretty good. And the inside of this area is the potions classroom, which makes sense because we do have Thughorn included in the set. Yeah, I mean, you got some cauldrons here, which the cauldron piece is cool to get in that color. And these just kind of rest in the cauldron. So, you know, they will fall out if you tip this thing upside down, but I don't know why you're going to tip buildings upside down, so I guess it's not a problem. And we do have this stickered potions book, which does use a sticker for the cover and a sticker for the page. This page sticker is also used in another place in the set, which we will see later. But I think that looks good for the front cover of this. It looks very similar to the book that Harry uses in the Series 2. Of the Harry Potter CMFs, but it is on a different plastic color. And then, you know, you do have some random potions and vials and stuff on the 2 tables, but it is very simple. Like, this area is pretty much just 2 tables with 2 chairs, but, I mean, it works okay, I guess. And there is enough room for the door to open up all the way and allow you to walk in and out, though I guess it's kind of weird that the potions classroom is literally at the entrance of the building. And the last section here is the most substantial one. The base level is relatively plain. There's just kind of an entranceway, which, if we turn this around to the outside, you can see, I think that the entranceway looks pretty good. It's just that, you know, there really isn't that much inside it. There is a doorway going this direction, as well as a doorway, you know, showing you the inside of each of the floors above. There's currently no expansion, like, explicitly designed to attach right to this one, so, you know, it's kind of, I don't remember which direction they show everything attaching to, but you can throw something here, and then, you know, the doorway's next to it. Though, I'll start off right now by saying I don't really love these door frames in white. Especially just because they're white. If they were recolored in a tan, I think it would have been okay, but it just really kind of stands out and does not look right. So, I'm not super sold on it. But from this angle, I think that this looks great. And, you know, you got the tan everywhere. The kind of detailing above the door with the spikes there. It looks good. A little bit of plants around the base and a little bit of tiling on your way in. Yeah, that looks pretty reasonable. And you do have a little bit of wall sticking out here because this is where it's going to attach to the entranceway with the potions classroom that we just saw. Turning it around this way, though, yeah, it's pretty plain. There's just a clip for a broom. You can stand some figures in there pretty easily. And then we have this little thing. I don't know what it's supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be something from the Slug Cup party, just because the table is also definitely from that, but I don't know what this is. I don't remember seeing it in the movie. Maybe I'll notice it when I continue rewatching all the Harry Potter movies, but yeah, it's just a little bit weird to me. I don't quite get it, but if you think it's weird and you really hate it, you can pull it off pretty easily. You can pull that piece off too, and then just have a little bit more empty space. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's cool to get red pumpkins, but that's about all I got out of this one. If we move this up, you can remove the top floors here relatively easily. They are assembled completely separately, and then they are attached by a couple more studs than would make it, super duper easy. But you can pull that off, and that gives you a little bit more light into this classroom here, or not classroom, office. This would be Slughorn's office, and it's got the little maybe a candle holder, probably what it is, or maybe, I guess it could be like no, probably a candle holder, without candles in it. We do have a printed letter here, which is cool. There are some stickers in these little bookshelves there. The other one is the same, like they're identical stickers, but there are two of them. And then we have a little bottle there and a little chalice along with an hourglass on the back. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is to his little office. There's a chair there. You can sit him down in his office. And the other thing that kind of bugs me about these frame pieces is, yes, they do make it significantly stronger with only one piece, but you can't really stand anyone on there. Like, it basically removes this whole area. Like, you can stick him there, but if you tip this at all, he will fall out. And if you want him to be studded in, you would have to have a student literally like standing on top of his desk almost. Yeah, very, very in his face. But that's really the only way you can pose figures in here. So, sure, maybe it allows you to create these areas a little bit smaller, but you do get a lot less usable space, and I don't know. I don't know if that's really worth it. Anyway, on this side we do have a little bit of a kind of outcropping built up to kind of connect into the tower that will kind of sprout from over here, but we are just going to pull it out and look at the interior details while we have it separate like this, and then I'll put it all together as soon as we finish looking at this. From the outside here, we do have a lot of brickwork stickers on the top section here. Looks pretty good. I like the curved area, and I really like this detailing in this top of the tower. I think that this whole section looks pretty great. We do have a small tower here, obviously. I believe in universe, at least, these would be big enough to have rooms inside, but it's obviously scaled down to kind of just work with minifigures. I like the round window here as well. We do have a Hedwig here who's not, specifically supposed to be there, but, that is a good place to put her if you are just looking for a place to keep your owls. And on the inside, there's some pretty good detailing. The bottom floor is a Ravenclaw common room, actually. We have a little banner sticker there, which is pretty cool, and two beds, which you can, kind of take a minifigure and kind of just lie them in the bed, and it works pretty well. I guess not if you're Luna and your hair is super big, but, it works fine. You can fit two people in there. We do have another printed letter piece, as well as a little shelf, which I guess you can hinge in and out if you want to, but really no good reason for that. And inside the shelf, there are some things which can be, occasionally they'll come out way too easily, and occasionally they will not want to come out at all. But there we go. We got them. We do have one of these printed Daily Prophet newspapers, and another textbook, probably a divination one, and you do have the same sticker for the pages in there. As I mentioned earlier, moving it up one level, we get to the actual astronomy part of the tower. I don't know exactly what this is supposed to be, but it looks really awesome. I like how they've got the 2 rings going on there, using one of the pieces that were introduced as a weapon for the Black Panther sets, and then this tire in gold, which was used for the Quidditch set, and just kind of get those working really well. That is a nice and shiny piece, and silver there. Yeah, that's pretty great, and I do like the way that looks. You do have a little bit of area that you can stand figures over here, not studded, but you can just kind of place them on the tile there. And on the very top floor, in the top tower, they actually use the inside of this cone pretty well, where they have this little scroll and this telescope, which looks pretty decent. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all there is to the interior of this tower. And now to put everything together, obviously the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take this second story, I guess, of the actual astronomy tower here, and we will plop that on. And now it is a big and nice and tall tower, and yeah, it's pretty impressively sized on display. Obviously this side is still a little bit open and kind of but it's kind of like that throughout the whole tower. And I guess the white door frames on the very top level don't bother me nearly as much as these ones down here, because even if you put something up against the side here, I don't think it's going to cover the whole thing front-wise. I mean, maybe, but I don't know. Just still a little bit off to me. But moving back down here, you can see we have the Technic holes and pins there that we can just stick this front section onto like that. And yeah, that works. Kind of get a little bit of a crevice in there, but it works fine. And then the last section of the set is just the greenhouse, which can plop right in there. And yeah, that looks pretty okay. And assuming that this is supposed to be a Slug Club decoration, you can very easily just take the table there, put it in this center area, and they can have the Slug Club party in a potions classroom with the greenhouse attached to it. So yeah, I mean, maybe placing isn't the the most accurate or anything, but I think it's reasonably fine, reasonably okay. I guess you could also move this over here and say that this area is where the Slug Club party is happening, and these are kind of separate, but I mean, the overall interior layout of this looks pretty okay, and it definitely does give you a little bit of extra space to play in here, where you could easily pretend that this is part of the inside of the castle. Relatively unusual for a set is that all 8 minifigures here are exclusive to this one particular set, and that means fully exclusive with exclusive prints and everything. And a good half of them, approximately, are based on the Slug Club scene from Half-Blood prints. All of them are based on the Half-Blood prints, but not all of them are specifically from the Slug Club. But Harry and Luna here do get new variants for their Slug Club clothing, and yeah, Harry's torso is pretty good looking. I believe the legs are just the standard kind of robe legs that they use relatively frequently, but definitely new torso there. And Luna has the new torso and legs, with the legs getting some dual molding there. No side printing, but I don't think that that's too bad. Back printing for Harry is pretty simple, but it looks fine. And Luna gets her hairpiece that was introduced in the first CMF series for Harry Potter, and she gets a new face print. Harry has the new for 2020 face print, but it's not exclusive to the set or anything. I believe Luna's face is still it's probably in the requirement, actually. But it is a good face print and works for her character, especially this expression there, which I guess I can show you what that looks like with the hairpiece on. Yeah, pretty good look for her. And then we have both Hermione and Neville here, and they're both also in their Slug Club attire. Hermione with her pink dress, and Neville with his waiter's uniform. Hermione's dressed a little bit brighter of a pink than it actually is in the movie, but otherwise it looks pretty good for what it is. And I do like the printing that they've given her for the shoes, where they are very shiny because they're a nice metallic silver printing, and they do wrap around the sides of the legs pretty well. But move that around a little, you can see they are very reflective and very shiny. The hairpiece works pretty well for this scene, though. I don't know if just regular brown is quite the right color for her in the later movies, especially, but I don't think it's too big a deal, and I think it works. Her face print is, fine. It's what we've seen before for her. I think it works okay. Her legs are dual molded in the set, and back printing for her is pretty good. Neville gets a new torso as well, with the nice print for his waiter clothes. He does get one of these shield pieces used as a tray here, which allows him to hold on to one glass, which I think is kind of a cool little compromise there. They do obviously all get their normal wand colors for this set, so I haven't been mentioning it with each figure, but as you can see, they all do come with wands. And yeah, the torso print for Neville looks pretty respectable for what it is, and his face prints are pretty decent. Especially this face print is very Neville. I believe this head may be exclusive to this set. I think it is, but maybe there's something I'm forgetting. It's definitely different from both the CMF versions. And I don't think he was in another Harry Potter set from 2018 on. And next up we have Ron and Lavender Brown, and these guys aren't based on their Slug Club attire because they don't go to the Slug Club, but they both do have outfits that are straight from Half-Blood Prince, like all the rest of the figures here. And yeah, the torsos for both of them, I should say, look pretty good. And this is the first time that we've ever gotten Lavender Brown as a minifigure, and she's not great. I mean, it's not the best resemblance. The face is kind of not good because they just took Rey's face from Star Wars and decided that it works. And I mean, it's not the absolute worst face in the world, but I feel like she should be significantly more cheerful, and this face definitely does not belong to her. But I mean, what are you gonna do? I guess they probably could have chosen a different face print from their selection of existing face prints if they wanted to, but I guess they didn't. And torso print for her is pretty good, though. I think that does definitely work, and even the hairpiece choice I don't think is too bad. It's not perfect, and she probably would have needed a new hair mold for it to be really good, but I think that this is pretty reasonably okay. Ron, his torso is great. I think that works well for this outfit from the movie. You have a happy face as well as a not so happy face, and his hairpiece is definitely the right choice for this particular movie. Most of the later movies, I think that this hairpiece works pretty well for him. And obviously, they still have wands. And actually, I guess I probably just should have mentioned when a character doesn't have a wand, because Draco does not, and neither does Luna in the set. But I didn't just not give them wands. They are not supposed to have them. But, yeah, Draco here is a new and exclusive version. Same legs as Harry, but his torso is new. And it's not particularly straight out of the movie or anything. It's just a different form of Slytherin robes, but it's okay. It's exclusive. He does use Kaz's face from Star Wars Resistance, and it works okay for him, to be honest. This side works pretty well, I think, aside from the eyebrows being really dark, but this side, it's okay. The hairpiece that they chose for this does work really well for a later movie Draco, so that's pretty good. And then the other figure that we have here is Horace Thughorn, and this is the second version of him that we've gotten in the 2018 forward sets, the other one being in the BrickByBrick pack. We have slightly different torso printing for this guy here, as well as a different face, and his hairpiece does not have the printed little highlights that the previous version of him used. It had the same hairpiece, just with printing on it, and it was the same printing that was used for Commissioner Gordon. I don't really think that missing the printing on the hairpiece detracts too much from the figure, but it's fine. The torso and face print are pretty good, though, I would say. The face print is remarkably similar to the original. It could even be exactly the same, but it does have a different item ID, so, I assume it's probably slightly different. And the torso print is definitely decently, significantly different, though if you just have the two of them next to each other, unless you start looking for differences, I don't think it'll jump out at you right away. And we don't get any leg printing for this one. And yeah, overall, I think that this set is kind of a little bit more of a mixed bag than I was expecting. I like the overall exterior look here. I think that is good. I think that the figure selection is really pretty excellent. I'm pretty sure that every single figure here is exclusive still. I know that they were all exclusive when they came out, and that's not even just saying they're exclusive combinations of parts. I believe every single torso here is exclusive, because Slughorn's is updated from the last one, and even Draco's is wearing a coat over the regular Slytherin shirt. So, I mean, just the figure selection, pretty impressive, and none of them are terrible figures either. It's cool to have the Slug Club versions of Luna and Harry and Hermione, and that those outfits for Ron and Lavender. Lavender's not the greatest looking figure compared to just the actress. Not the most accurate, but it's still, the torso's pretty good, and it's not a terrible figure overall. I mean, least interesting is probably Draco, but even then, still the cool, different version of a Slytherin torso. I mean, I guess the only thing that this set is kind of missing is really, it doesn't have a super desirable exclusive character or new character. I guess Lavender is the closest you get to that, but she's not a character I care too much about. But yeah, the overall exterior I think is pretty excellent on this one. I think that having this tower section right there, I think that is kind of a visually striking thing that really works for this one. Interior is okay. I really don't like the white door frames on this side over here. They make this look a bit cheaper and less well made than the rest of the the Hogwarts expansions in this scale. But I don't think it completely kills the set. I don't think it's the absolute end of the world. So I still think that this is good, just not the best Hogwarts expansion. Figure-wise, it might be, but I don't know. The other ones did have some good figures, so I guess I'm not ready to make a judgment on that yet. But maybe if I do make a judgment, I will include it in my video showing all of the Hogwarts expansions together. So that's all I got for this little review today. Still, I think the value for $100 is pretty okay. Maybe it would have been better if this was $90, but I think $100 is fine. It's just kind of the one thing that I'm a little bit torn on there is that the interior is not quite as good as the Great Hall, which was also $100. And the visual presence of the Great Hall is probably a little bit higher. So yeah, maybe it would have been nice if this was still only $90, but I think just, without looking at other sets, I think that this is okay for $100. So, hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you did, let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys all next time. Bye, everyone.